So February 23rd, 2024, breaking news: Brent Sass disqualified, 11th hour, right before the race for alleged, misconduct, sexual stuff with some of his fast employees, dog handlers, maybe other people. No details have been disclosed by the Iditarod Trail Committee, and there has been no charges brought against Brent. And I feel mixed emotions about it. I think I'm sure that there's a shred of truth to everything that's going on here, and I think systemically, I've said it many times, there's problems with the dog mushers handlers relationships. It's very unstructured, ruined board, cash under the table. People are basically being trafficked from foreign countries in the lower 48 to come and live with a musher, and a lot of them are predatory, not just one. So, if someone's trying to claim this is just unique to Brent Sass, and there aren't other mushers who are, routinely hooking up with female handlers and trafficking them from, different countries or from the lower 48, exploiting them, or just exploiting handlers, period, just in a labor situation, not even in a sexual situation, with that power imbalance, long unstructured hours, taking advantage of them, basically using them as slaves. Absolutely 100% credible, and sympathize with anyone who feels victimized, whether it's in a sexual way or in another way. But again, this is systemic in my opinion, and I've focused on it before. It's not unique to one individual. Now, I have no idea, nothing has been shown to me that proves anything with regard to these accusations against Brent Sass. I have seen nothing fact based, and I have seen, again, like, I'm sure there's a shred of truth to everything going on, but just for me, I feel like there's a lack of due process with this situation, and a good strong accusation from someone. I hope it's corroborated for a race to make a decision with some actual data and fact, so that they can unequivocally feel that they've done the right thing and haven't just pandered to the mob. You know what I mean? Which is obviously a concern. Even if and I'm not saying I like Brent. I'm not saying I think Brent Sass is 100% innocent, or Brent Sass should be able to run the race, even because I haven't seen allegedly what. I just saw a no nugget article, and I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm really not tied into rumor mill like I may have been in the past. So maybe this guy's more of a monster than even I could imagine. You know what I mean? It's quite possible, but I just don't like to condemn people, kind of like I said with the Eddie Burke thing, unless I really see the data and the facts and see everything in front of me, just like if I was a judge in court, because false accusations can happen and just things can get exaggerated, taken out of context. And I just wonder what you guys think, because those are my first thoughts and impressions. I sort of like a little eye widening, and sort of shaking my head in about the decision and the timing of the decision, and the fact that there is no like actual charge. Like, these people who are making these accusations and making this case against Brent Sass and going to these different race organizations. I just think, like, for the dog mushing community and the sport and everything like that, if they want to take a corrective step, it's not going to be with one musher. It should be like a systemic thing towards all the different mushers in the race, and say, oh, you guys have to have your dog handlers have to be employees under the law. You know what I mean? This is what I've said. I've said this a long time ago. I said, to protect the image of the sport, and to make sure that the type of scenarios that we're seeing, the allegations that we're seeing come forward about these type of scenarios with dog handlers and mushers, don't happen. So there could have been a preventative step by the race organization and the race organizations at large a long time ago to prevent this kind of thing. Because I'm sure that there are lots of other stories like the stories we're seeing with Brent that are out there in the community. You know what I mean? And obviously, part of the thing with Brent and Jesse Holmes, like Jeff King, Jeff King. I mean, look at the list: Matt Hall, Ryan Reddington, Nick Petit, Jesse Holmes, Jeff King. He's got a different muster in the race. Obviously Brent. There's all kinds of them that have repeatedly hooked up with female handlers. And there's much that I'm not mentioning. Those are just ones off the top of my head. Have done at least once, and maybe more than once. You know what I mean? And clearly, these guys are not 20-year-old guys anymore. You know what I mean? They're in their 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s for Jeff. So it's not unique just to Brent. It's a systemic thing. And I just, again, I'm at a loss, and I wonder what you guys think. Is maybe someone else in the community has seen more data than me, but like this process and this method to me feels compromised. You know what I mean? And that's not defending Brent, and that's not saying that I think that there's no merit to anyone's allegations or feelings or concerns or being victimized. I'm just saying, like, we have a process in court, and for the race organization to pander at the last minute to someone's attempts to make it so that someone can't run a sporting event, compete in a sporting event, when that person has not gone through the court process, to me, is questionable. That's it. So I wonder what you guys just think about this. Again, the timing and the lack of due process. Because, like, even if there are some standing credible allegations against someone, they should have an opportunity to defend themselves. And even forgetting about the court of law and forgetting about how I said, I'm questioning whether this should be, someone should be tried in the court of law versus the press, and why the timing right before the race. And you know, the question for me is, did the trail committee ever give like a public hearing or something to Brent, also to like Eddie Burke, you know what I mean, before they disqualified them from running the race? And should that element in the process of the Iditarod organization, the trail committee, be there, where these people are able to provide the trail committee with a statement via video or via writing, even if they're not able to coordinate and to convene with a physical in-person meeting with the trail committee, or with any other race like the Cusco that is reviewing some data. And also, should the person who's being accused get a chance to see all of the stuff that that's being alleged against them, and the source of that that's being alleged against them. And this is the nature of what would be unfold through a discovery process in a court setting. So like a little bit, again just asking this question and kind of like looking a little puzzled at this, because I'm not trying to uh, shame or deny anything that someone who victimizes is saying. And I'm saying that they shouldn't be able to say what they want to say through any means possible. They have freedom of speech. They can go to a race organization. They can go to law enforcement. They can do what they want, right? I mean, this is our system and our laws in the country. But just the fact that, for a race organization, maybe they already did this, but like, shouldn't they allow like someone who's accused, like Eddie Burke or like Brent Sass, to be able to provide a statement to sort of defend themselves? And I'm just not sure that this is going to, is this going to help or hurt the race? And this is the question we're going to throw out here for this video. Is this process and the amount of press that is going to this stuff with Eddie Burke, with Brent, and the lack of due process from the race, and the timing of the race right before the actual competition? We've only got 40 teams signed up this year for Iditarod, right? You know what I mean? The sport in the race and the quest is splintered, is on very shaky footing. Is this helping or hindering these action steps by ITC? And obviously, this is my fourth video on this. I don't want to go too much into this, but spend too much bandwidth on it. But obviously, contextually, we should note that this is the second time Brent Sass has been disqualified from the Iditarod. The first time was for an alleged use of an iPod, like listening to music, which could potentially have been a two-way communication device. And now with the changes in the rules of the race, they are allowed to use the two-way communication devices, and Brent has been found to have been using those to communicate with handlers, to get positioning in terms of where they are on the trail of his competitors, and make sort of tactical decisions in the end of the race. You know what I mean? Which impacted his ability to win the 1 year he won. So with all of that said, I think the question is there some sort of like underlying, and obviously, was that rule enforced consistently? This is the question, right? Back when Brent had the iPod, supposedly that seemed like a really extreme measure to disqualify him back then. Obviously, Mark Norderman was part of that. Mark Norderman was a decision maker then, and Mark Norderman is still sort of a controversial, very political, lives on land from Chef King to Nally Park, race judge, race marshal for the Iditarod. So the question here is this ruling with Brent Sass, being enforced in an arbitrary political way, or is it being enforced in relation to the other competitors and the other mushers in the race in a way that's being consistent? In other words, I know for a fact, having been someone who worked in the musher community and ran the Iditarod and knows how it all works, there's plenty of other musher-handler relationships, and like I said, I named already half a dozen that have been in relationships with their handlers, and some of them have left disgruntled. Some of them have. I know there's people who feel like they were exploited. In other words, it's not unique. People who have been, I don't know about how extreme these allegations and how credible these allegations against, restraining someone and slapping them is pretty bad. You know what I mean? So maybe he got someone pregnant or something like that. I just don't know. But like, so. I don't have the data in front of me to make the decision, but I'm just saying that there's a trend and a pattern that's bigger than one musher. Is this being consistently, enforced and approached by the race organizations in question, the Cusco now, and also the Iditarod, and just how this is smearing someone in the press and stuff like that? Have they looked at all the other mushers, or is it just because someone's complaining, or are they really trying to do this in an objective, consistent way in terms of this ruling with Brent Sass?